I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Father, thank you for this day that you've given us today. Thank you for the beautiful weather we've had lately, God. And I just pray that you be with us tonight as we do business for the school district. God, I pray that you'd help us to make wise decisions, and I pray that everyone involved would just make decisions that honor you and that are best for the kids of this school district. And just pray that you would be with the teachers and administration and all the others who are involved in the daily functions of the schools. I pray that you would just give them the strength that they need each day and the wisdom that they need each day to do what's best for the students of this district. And God, I just pray, most of all, thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and call the October 10th meeting to order. We do have a quorum with Mr. Steve Oberchain joining us online. Welcome everybody. Mr. Warren, please go ahead.
Before we get to the consent agenda, just so that everybody here knows, especially the board, we have a litany of appreciation and recognition dates. Not that it's not in your board packet. I don't expect you to remember all these, but I do want to kind of run through them so that you'll know. October is Dyslexia Awareness Month. This is also the month for Fire Prevention Week, which is the 9th through the 15th. We have Safe Schools Week, which is the 16th through the 22nd. We have National School Bus Safety Week, which we do our bus evacuation drills during that time frame, which will be the 17th through the 21st. And if you want to have a good experience, go do a bus evacuation drill with elementary kids. We have Stop Bullying Day and Unity Day on the 19th. We had Red Ribbon Week, Drug-Free America Week, the 23rd through the 31st. And last but not least, and we've already had Instructional Facilitators Day and Coaches Day this month. I'm sure I'm missing one that happened in the 10 days. Custodial Day, thank you. We've had Custodial Day as well. And that was a Sunday, the 2nd, if I remember right. It's an interesting day to have Custodial Day. But last but not least this is also National Principals Month. And I know I personally want to extend my gratitude to our building principals and assistant principals for the job that they do on a daily basis. There's a lot of headache and a lot of, just like for teachers and everybody else, but principals catch the brunt of a lot of things, and they get the good of a lot of things. There's nothing like being a principal. So I want to thank them out here in this forum for what they do every day. But now going on to business, we have our consent agenda.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Also,
Motion by Nick, second by Josh. All in favor?
Thank you, sir. We are going now to our special reports. And our first special report is our approval for out-of-state travel for FCCLA. And she has provided a couple of papers for you here on the side. Sorry, I'm
Oh, you're good.
these up. Mr. Obenchain, sorry, but you won't see these right now. But they're kind of a little bit about what they're going to in general.
Yeah, so one page has like a who, what, when kind of information. I'll go through that. The other pages are just some examples of events that the students will be competing in. Essentially, we're just asking approval to attend our National Fall Conference, which is in Columbus, Ohio. While their students will do different leadership events and compete in skills demonstration events. Each kind of entry can have up to 3 students. I know I have 3 students currently planning on doing creed speaking, which is one of the rubrics I've given you, where they kind of memorize the creed and talk about how it fits into their personal philosophy, kind of what the history of the creed means in FCCLA. It would be in November. We would leave November 10th to drive up to Columbus to save on airfare. We would be driving. We would be there to compete the 11th and the 12th, and then we would drive back on the 13th, which that's the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Cost-wise, it's $275 per student. FCCLA is paying the full cost. We've been doing fundraising that would cover registration, lodging, and food for those students. And then of the students, I'm asking for behalf of the middle school as well as the high school in Huntsville. Middle school has 7 students currently interested who are planning to attend, one of which is also running to be a regional officer, which in the past FCCLA called it district. We've recently changed the name, who would benefit from it. And then at the high school, they currently have about 4 or 5 students interested. Of those, 3 of them are running for either a regional or a state office who would also benefit from attending. Any questions?
Alright, if there's no questions, can I get a move to approve? Connie first. Nick seconds.
Sorry.
Yep, you're good. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
You guys have fun.
Okay, in tab B, we are now with our Watson primary presentation. This is our first, we're gonna highlight each building once a month through the rest of this course of the school year, so Watson gets to take.
Get over here. Sarah Mullenix. This is my ride or die. Most of you should know Sarah Mullenix, our instructional facilitator at Watson Primary, and I drug her out. Bailey, what do I do?
Yeah, turn it on the side of it. not
On the what?
something.
The side. Oh, on, sorry. In my list of talents, you will not find technology to be one of them. All right, it's on. What do I do?
Oh, no.
So we've talked about RISE, you've heard about RISE, and a couple of months ago, Missy Hickson, the Teacher Center Coordinator at the co-op, asked Watson Primary to do a presentation for other schools in our co-op area about RISE and just what we did to earn that award. And so it kind of fell in line with us doing just building level presentations. And so it was on my heart to say, you probably are like, I don't even know what that means. So I'm just gonna kind of give you the down and dirty really quick, and Sarah's gonna help me where I fall, because I'm telling you, who's in the trenches every day? It's this girl right here. So, I mean, rightfully so that we drag her out on Instructional Facilitators Month. All right, Bailey, this is probably, okay. So what is RISE, really quick? RISE was an initiative that was launched in 2017 by the Department of Education in an effort to build stronger readers in our schools. The movement is anchored in the science of reading, which is a whole new way of thinking about how kids learn to read. So really quick, one thing that we've learned through all of this is that if you think about it, your brain was never actually designed to learn to read, to speak and listen, but not really to read. And so what we had to learn was how the brain does learn how to read. How do we map sounds into, or how do we map print into sound and that into word form? Sarah was talking about just watching, go ahead, tell her.
It was interesting last night, I was watching something about Egypt, and they had found all these old hieroglyphics, and just how they could translate those, and I just thought, my goodness, that's what we do to our kids, we just throw them in front of, hieroglyphics, letters, and they've got to learn how to make sense of it. So, putting sounds to the sequence of those letters, and how do those make words. I was just sitting there thinking last night, man, how did they figure that out? But really, it's kind of what we do every day with our kids, so.
When they first come to us, they don't know a letter from a shape to a symbol. And so teaching them by the end, and we'll see some video of, how quick that happens and all the work that goes into that. So that year, Watson Primary was one of a few schools, I think there were 3 in our co-op region, that was selected to become a RISE pilot school. So our whole K-2 crew and our special education teachers participated in the RISE Academy. that included 6 days of intensive reading instruction and a complete shift in our instructional practices. There were some blood, sweat, and tears that went into just changing what we do day to day, complete paradigm shift. And then we receive ongoing coaching from literacy specialists, and Sarah went to RISE, Train the Trainer, so she's just our in-house support for our teachers as well. So when we talk about that reading instruction, K2 level focuses very heavily on the foundational skills that are essential to becoming a skilled reader. So, building those foundational skills in phonemic awareness, which is just hearing and manipulating sounds and spoken words, syllables, and you'll see some of that in practice later on. Some phonics, decoding and encoding. Decoding is the reading piece and encoding is the writing piece. Letter ID, letter sound correspondence, splitting the letters into words, and then the sight word recognition for words that have irregular spelling patterns. So we call that the bottom of the rope, and then we have a top of the rope. So all of these things that intertwine to build a skilled reader, and the top of the rope is that language comprehension piece. So having that background knowledge, good vocabulary, knowing the syntax in language, what words make sense, and having a good verbal reasoning. So I brought to you our RISE Award rubric. So when we applied to become a RISE school, there were certain criteria that we had to meet to even get a visit from our RISE specialist and Sandy Shepherd. And so I did have that on here, but I felt like I was mucking it up too much, but it didn't bring me. Our rubric, so you can see where we scored in each of those categories, what the notes were on the side, the column that and I brought enough for everybody, whoever wants it. Would you give one to Shannon? Make sure that she gets one. So you can read through. I obviously will not read, but we're very proud of the scores that we scored. We, of course, walked away with some things that we can grow in. I think you're always trying to grow, do better, but we were very proud. And I will say this, in the beginning, our teachers were like, oh my gosh, what? And we were like, this is cake. This is what you do every single day. And it was just really affirming to see that is, when we see these scores, we scored really well. And I'll just kind of on the last page, out of 48 possible points, we scored 44. You had to have a 36. And Sarah, do you remember, and I probably told y'all this early on, how many schools applied and how many got it?
I think 22, if I'm remembering correct. Well, there was several that you had to do an initial application. You had to kind of turn in kind of like a little resume, and they had to go through that. And first of all, you had to pass that. And then after that, I think there were 22 on-site visits. And so of those 22, we were one of the 10 across the state that got the award. So at the bottom, there's just kind of a brief summary that Sandy Shepherd and Merica Howie were the two RISE assessors that came, what they said about our school, and I think I read that to you. It was what we posted on social media, so you've probably seen that. And then we thought we would just kind of close with like, what's it look like? So these are actual videos I put, again, not technology driven. So this is this morning, this is Miss Scoggins' kindergarten class. She's doing some phonemic awareness instruction. So she's teaching syllabication, or students to listen to the syllables.
Remember, I say it first, and then I'm going to read your direction, you repeat me, and then we'll put it together, okay? Number. Put it together, it is number. Good job. Pump it. Put it together, it is pump it. Good job. A, B.
I don't know how to cut and shorten things, so Bailey's just doing that for me, so you can kind of see that. Before they can start to read, they have to learn how to manipulate sounds and words, and so they start that early on, and that goes all the way K2. They're working on it all the way through, and you'll see a little bit of that in the next one. Oh. Okay, so this is Miss Valines this morning. As I went in there this morning, they were working on blending words. You won't be able to see her smartboard very well, but she's got an electronic blending board. They're seeing letters and they're putting it together to read some words, and then they kind of go into some red word practice. And these poor teachers had no idea it was coming in this morning.
Hold it. Ready, read. What's that word mean? Hiss. Yeah, sort of like a snake. We kind of mock a snake like that. Like they would make that little snake. Great job. Okay.
So that's kind of the decoding piece that's happening. And then in second grade, they're working on some encoding, so writing. And they were working on a pattern of words that end in Y. Those are tricky, so they're kind of practicing.
And literacy now. All right, Riley. P-P-Y. Everybody got your together. That was last week. All right, we're gonna do one more line, and then we'll do a sentence. I want you to tell me how to make the sound in. Show me on your paper. In. As in sing, fling, ring, bling. Sometimes girls and boys like bling, right? Bling.
Little vocab.
Sparkle, on sparkle, bling. Every time you
Okay. So, just a few pictures that Sarah was able to get in and take. This is some more phonics instruction in kindergarten. Students that are working on learning upper and lowercase letters, letter sound correspondence. This teacher, for the day, you see the girl with the N around her neck. That was their name for the day. So she was in. You had to address Everly as in that day. This is Mrs. Holmes doing small group reading instruction with her students. They were playing Zap. They're reading letters. They're doing letter ID right there. So this is Miss Neal's first grade class. You can see that the decoding piece. That's that blending board. They're seeing those digraphs that you see at the beginning and the end, and they're learning how to read those sounds. This is a student who was working on that vowel or that Y, ending Y, and practicing that with her sub-skill build-up that the lovely Sarah Mullinex put together. She does a lot of putting together lessons and activities. These are things that she gets calls about, saying, hey, could you send this to me? This is amazing. They want to share that with other schools. So we could not do this live without Sarah. This was taken last week. You'll see a little hot mess in that upper right-hand corner, Mr. Obenshade. Actually, both pictures. So one thing that's amazing, when I talk about, like, they literally really do come in not knowing what a letter is from a number from anything else. And you can see we're 8.5 weeks in this picture, and these kids are encoding words. They have learned how to pound and tap letters or sounds into letters and write that down. They're working on, you can see that aw sound that they were working on. So they've encoded the word hog, and then in that, where's my last picture of them? There was one more with the whole sentence. They're writing sentences in kindergarten. So
That is really hard to do in kindergarten. Those pictures look so cute, but that's a lot of hard work. So to get the little, they don't even hardly know their name when they first come in, and then
To see the teacher's excitement about that is amazing too.
So, any questions about what's in front of you? I say is, I have gone through all 14 modules of that and I still didn't understand half of them. I don't understand you guys are amazing, all the things you have to do with them and get them there. But I know this is gonna help because at high school, it's hard to teach the reading at high school. So this is awesome.
Great job.
And that, I will say that is a big change from what writing and reading instruction used to be. You know, if you saw some of those pictures, they used to have word walls and, you know, you're trying to get kids to read this certain type of level book. And now you go into a primary classroom and you're looking at sound walls, which has pictures of mouths. So if you want to volunteer to make an O sound or whatever, you can probably have your picture taken with that. And they put it, you know, it's just completely different than what it was 5, 6 years ago. Especially at the K through 2 level. And kudos to the Watson Primary for taking on that challenge and excelling at it is what I would say as well. It's a very big deal for that. It's a prestigious award.
I know they probably nitpick too, if you don't get those scores just because most of those places, they look for something wrong, not.
Right, yeah, these aren't people that we know and love and live right here, these are, you know, they were there to really see the real deal. And one thing I'll say is, I wish I would have had time to get into our special education classrooms. We have interventionists that are trained doing this work for students that need that extra support. So, I mean, when I say this is what we live and breathe, it truly is what we live and breathe.
And I just have one more thing to add. Sorry, I just want to say this, just to brag on our teachers and just how hard they work. Over the last few years, we've had several people come to visit, and they always comment on how we have just such a nice culture, you know, and the teachers are very willing to get feedback. They're willing to get that, critique so that they can build and they can get better. So I feel like anybody that comes usually to visit, they always say something about how we just have a really great culture. And so that's what I'm really proud about for our teachers. They just do a really good job to try to go above and beyond, so.
Okay, last item on the special reports is a potential donation for a construction of a batting facility near the new activity center. I have Scott Stokenberry here to kind of go through a timeline. I was unfair in my analysis of what he might potentially provide to us because it's unfair to the construction cost right now. So please work through that. That will not be discussed right at this moment, but I did want to outline a timeline, potential timeline for you. Did I
It wasn't, I'm just saying, the Buck Fawn Foundation's gonna pay for it, right? So.
That's the potential, yes. But go ahead.
Okay. As Mr. Warren said, my name is Scott Stokenberry. I'm with C.R. Crawford Construction. I'm one of the partners over there. What y'all have, board members, in front of you is a very preliminary schedule from starting whatever date you want through the process to the opening of the building. So it's kind of a high-level 30,000-foot look at the process. We're happy to walk through it with you. The whole process takes about 16 months. We have a project kickoff meeting. We need to complete civil engineering design. Y'all have a set of plans for the building, but I have no idea on any kind of cost associated with the parking lot, with any kind of dirt work, because we don't have a set of plans for that yet. So I can sit up here and speculate, but that's all it would be, was pure speculation. And I don't want to lead y'all down that road. Just working through the schedule again, we've got 45 days to complete the civil engineering. The next 10 days would be the coordination and development of bid packages. That's when we cut through the drawings, compile them all in some sort of acceptable format to the subcontractors so they can scroll through the pages, decide what their scope would be and what they would want to bid on. From there, we're going to submit it to the state for approval. Being as if this is a donation, it's not the traditional bond generator or bond finance type projects like the CTE building. It's a little easier process. They just want to see what y'all are building, what's going on, and they want to schedule as well, and that's kind of about it because there's no ad valorem tax revenue financing it, you can do what you want. 30 days, we put it out on the street, we get on the phone, we call the subcontractors, we send them emails, we ask that everybody in the general vicinity, hey, come bid our project. The more the merrier. The next 21 days is what we call our value engineering process, and that's when we go back and look at the drawings, look at the bids, and say, hey, what are we missing here? What can we do to better design and or provide more efficient building for the dollars? Sometimes you can get some money out of deals, sometimes you can't. Right now, as everybody knows, the everything, costs are up. You can see it at the pump, you can see it at the grocery store. It's been a crazy year, to say the least. From there, the next 14 days, we work on signing the subcontracts and the owner contract. We get mobilized, and then we start construction. Now, there's a 305-day schedule on the construction. That is a very preliminary number. We don't have anything that's hard. All I was trying to do is get something in front of y'all tonight to give you kind of an idea how long this would take. From there, we get a CO, certificate of occupancy, which means we're done. 28 days from move-in. So a total duration of 485 days, roughly 16 months if we started whenever. I've spoken with the architect. I don't know if you're going to continue with having him do the civil drawings or not. I had a conversation last Friday. He's willing to do whatever he can to aid and abet y'all's situation.
So you use an Architecture Plus?
Yes, Craig Mooney.
We
And then
potentially would if
engineering
we,
elements, you could be an engineer.
I think so. I think that's, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember that. So
It seems like that's usually who does all the stuff for the district.
I'm happy to try to answer any questions, or if I don't know, I'll tell you that too. So,
I'm sorry, I didn't.
no, as I say, the cost piece of it, I'm talking to my estimator, we could see another 5 to 10% increase over the next 12 to 18 months. That's an estimate.
In my conversations with the foundation, their expectation is to fund it fully. There is some, we're talking. I just wanted this information out for you all to be able to see and to know. I'm going, after tonight, I'm going back to them to kind of give them this information as well. One of the things that speeds up this timeline, not from what you're seeing here, I guess I should say, one thing that would slow it down is if we did not use C.R. Crawford, who is already constructing our activities center. We could add an addendum to it, all of that. Otherwise, we have to step back, we have to take bids, all of that stuff in general. So my goal for you all was to show you that it is kind of an extended timeline. It's not just throwing up 4 walls and putting in a batting cage. Not that we don't want to do that. That's not, there's no intent on any part of my part to say that this is a bad thing. I want it for our students. I want it for our kids. But I think we have to look at it realistically of how long it will take, and then we have to have a big discussion on what cost it would be. Once the foundation makes a donation, it's not that they're hands off. That's not our intent at all. But it is at that point we kind of start over. They've done some legwork on design. They've done some legwork on working with the architect himself. But it kind of comes back to, you can use those general plans, but it's not a complete start over. I don't want to make it sound that way, but it is. There's more legwork and more stuff to do that is an expense that maybe they're not expecting or that they're not accounting for. So I just wanted to give this information to you, let you have a small conversation about it, and then be able to go back to them and say, okay, here's where the board stands, here's where we are as a school district, and go from there.
So has C.R. Crawford had direct talks with the foundation, or is it?
Not direct, no, sir.
Okay.
I mean, I'm aware of who's involved over there because of the size of the community. I know some of those people, but I've not been to any board meetings or have not had those type of conversations. Happy to do so if y'all need me to do that.
No, I just
Yeah.
was wondering.
Nobody's on that foundation that's here tonight.
No, and that, I told them that I would present this to you all first, and then we'll meet in this month in between to kind of go forward from there. I'm new to this process myself, so I didn't have a good grasp on what even to ask, honestly. Kind of dug around talking with Scott and other people, found out some more information on how to even proceed.
Is there anything we really need to do?
No, there's no action to take, there's just, more so, my only concern is that I don't want to get into a situation where there's not enough funds to fund the building. And I think as long as everybody is clear on that would be the biggest thing to stop anything, then I'm more than happy to go back to the foundation and say, here's what we feel like we can do, and here's the process.
What role is the foundation in all of this? Or is it gonna be our decision on who to use, Sierra Crawford, or is it where they're gonna want to get 3 bids from a GC to get the cost down potentially? Because I know, how long has our relationship been going on with Sierra Crawford? It's been a long time, right?
Couple of years.
And is it always been kind of like you guys have had the jobs that we've had, or have you had to bid against other GCs?
No, we were hired as your construction manager.
Right.
Is the proper term. The state of Arkansas allows you to manage the project. And I think the day of that contract is, but about 2 years ago. So we can be fired like anybody else can.
And I'm not saying
No,
that.
but I mean, that's the,
But as a
what happens,
school
right?
district, when we're looking at money, I mean, competition's good.
absolutely.
I mean,
No, you're right, no, just timeline wise, that this was.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean, if there's a potential to where if the foundation can't cover all the costs, we need to do everything we can to make it happen.
Sure,
No, and then we'd go back to that beginning.
Absolutely.
sure.
I think first thing we need to get is a bid from them to foundation so that they can see if that's something they can.
Well, I don't even know, I mean, how far are they in the design process? I mean,
I think the building, as I'm told from the architects, is basically complete, but we don't have any civil drawings. And that's all your dirt work, your utilities, your parking lot. And as you all know, there's not a whole lot of flat ground in Madison County, Arkansas. Okay, so I mean,
There's a big mountain of dirt over there.
that's exactly right.
And
So-
what location are you talking, like right in front of the gym? Like where the
Yeah, I was told it would be to basically the north of the gym.
So basically where the parking lot stops now, like just.
That's my understanding.
Yeah,
Okay.
north and east of the gym.
That is the plan that we have seen.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's locked in that location, but.
But I have not been involved in this process.
Right.
We've been focused on,
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
It looks great, by the way,
okay, well, I got a little update for you on that too, if y'all wanna hear it.
100%.
We have the CO, bleachers and all the chairback stuff went in Friday. This week, it's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they're doing all the system training for all the audio, visual, security, HVAC. Just how do you operate the building? That's all gonna be video recorded, so you'll have it. Started striping the court, and we'll be done punching the building on 10/24. So, y'all gonna be in business.
Love it.
It looks spectacular.
Is there a time that we can get back in there prior?
Oh, yeah, we'll get you in there if you need to.
Yeah, I can get you anything.
Sure. And we thank y'all for the opportunity on that, it's been a great project. I mean,
And I gotta give a little props, Sierra Crawford has gone above and beyond. They have, any kind of issues or the supply issues have been terrible. And they have, and Dakota, God give him, he has done a
Project
fantastic
superintendent.
job, the on-site manager has done a fantastic job finding the right thing at the right time. And it's all coming together, so they've done a good job.
thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I would definitely get back with them.
We are,
We wanna-
yes, we are. Next is the superintendent report. Look in your packet. we changed out and did a new financial report. We're calling it a projection report. Basically, we look at for right now, we're 3 months in our fiscal year. We have 3 months of actuals, revenue and expenditures, with a year-to-date column on the very bottom, and then we have what we're projecting based off of previous trend data for the upcoming rest of the fiscal year, for the rest of the 9 months. Just wanted to note that we have a different table for you, a different sheet.
So do we have like some unexpected expenditures? Is that why our expenditures are more than our revenue?
I would say it's not that we had unexpected expenditures, and Tina
Just a
chime in,
low
it's
tax
just,
coming in?
yes, we just don't,
Right.
our taxes are not, we get a regular, X amount from the state for our foundation funding, but the tax revenue it fluctuates. Now, you'll see, we predict in November we'll get a pretty good influx, and then, and that's based off of years past, and then in April and May, we usually get, in May, we usually get a pretty good influx as well. So I don't know that I wouldn't say that our expenditures have been out of whack necessarily. If there aren't any other questions, sorry.
I said, actually in September expenditures were less than in August, so.
August is a big month because you go back to full payroll. Our enrollment report is next. We have our chart, the 3 charts, and then the cover page, which gives us our headcount statistical report. We take out our pre-K of those numbers. We show that we are at 35 as of right now from the last day of school last year. You can see a building breakdown of what we had from last month reported. And then all the next 3 pages are just that data in chart form. If you like bar graphs.
You go, 35 kids.
And that fluctuates throughout the year, but right now it's been pretty steady. We're happy with that.
So October 1st was our date, right? So that's the number. So we're up 35.
Well, I didn't look at October 1, so it could be different
Okay.
than this is October 10th. So honestly, I
Probably should
forgot
be
to look
close.
at it. It should be close. The next report is very simple. We did the Arkansas Energy Office. Just wanted to give you an update on what that is going through. They facilitated campus walkthroughs last Friday, right? Last Friday, 2 weeks ago. They have, those entities that went through those walkthroughs have until October 14th to submit their proposals to us, and then I am in the process of gathering a committee that will review those proposals, and we'll, if we need to, we'll take that committee and they will then bring those, top 3 or top 4 in, and have them present to us, and we'll score them on a rubric and then be able to provide you with, here's a recommendation, or not, based off of that information. And then the last thing,
Excuse me,
yes,
Mr. Warren, in this committee you're preparing, are you also including maybe some members from the community?
I haven't reached out to him, but yes, I've talked to Mr. Trahan from St. Paul because he's gone through this process. Is that right?
Trahan.
Yeah, and then I've told Tina that she has to be on it, much to her chagrin. I think that I told Steve that he had to be on it a while back, but I don't know that much to his chagrin. But other than those three right now, I haven't reached out to him about it, but yes, we will. And then the last one is our request for proposals from banking. We had 3 submissions that was proposed or sent to us on October 3rd. We are going through those and, coming up with questions that we want to ask and things like that. And when I say we, it's myself, Tina, and Mr. Ferguson mainly. And then, we will come back to you hopefully in November with any recommendation on that, which may be no recommendation for change or maybe a recommendation. But we were pretty pleased with getting 3 proposals, honestly.
And right now, Arvest is our bank.
We have funds in Arvest and in Cornerstone. Okay. Admin reports. Those are in your packet, but obviously if you have questions that you want to talk through or discuss, by all means, please do so. Bailey made a free and reduced breakdown for you on his part of his, near the end of it, I think.
I just want to really compliment all the people that worked on that free and reduced lunch. That is amazing. And it's a great job.
Team effort for sure.
Mr. Kane, that's pretty cool planetarium set up in there.
Tomorrow night. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's through the U of A. They're bringing it up. Well, actually it arrived today, but we're putting it up tomorrow.
In high school, that was really awesome that Stetson was able to bring in NAPOLs and the simulators. That's awesome.
That was really cool. I mean, I didn't wanna act like, I didn't wanna ask too many questions because I didn't want them to think I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't. But it moved the chair and everything. It was really, really neat. He's gonna bring it back in the spring as well, so.
I remember the first time I ran one of those, my boss just walked off, give up. So I would have appreciated a simulator like that before.
And that's what they use to train their people on before they put them on the big stuff. So it's the actual machine.
That was really fun.
Now, was it just the older 2 grades or was it all grades?
Yeah, it was just 11 and 12, and that was their, well, I had said that before, but they concurred with that request because that's who they're targeting for jobs, those 2 groups.
Mr. Dunlap, how's your fundraising for the art kiln coming?
I haven't been in touch with Miss Smith yet on the, where she's at, financial, what they've done, but she's really pushing hard and they're doing a good job. I don't know what they did Saturday, with the Bikes, Blues and Barbecue, but I couldn't tell you where we're at financially right now, but they are still pushing for it.
Anya, what's LEA Academy?
It's a conference for special ed administrators to get updates and go to different sessions, breakout sessions.
Harry, are you gaining any?
Took a little slide this month, but we've got a lot of applicants. We've got more than we can train right now, which is great. So we're getting there.
Man, you guys are doing it, I mean, you're managing it well.
Right, yeah.
I mean, like I've taken some heat, but you're
Yes.
You have
doing what you
You got
can.
any tail left back there?
Natasha, when will all the federal money come in?
Federal money works differently than other school money, and so it comes in as we spend it. So, it's a reimbursement type of account, so when they look at expenditures once a month, and then they reimburse us for all of those expenditures.
So we already have a budget for that.
Yes,
Okay.
I think we're only missing ELL. I don't think we've gotten that one yet, is that right? I can't remember, I think we're still waiting on just one.
And Bailey, where's their conference?
Little Rock.
Oh, in Little Rock, I see
Yeah.
that. That's awesome.
It's a conference geared just towards technology, school technology of people, so the content is really geared and they have a great time. It's a great time every year.
So is the whole team getting to go? Life as we know it may end right
I've reassured everyone that it is a 3-hour drive, but I do have people in place if
Just in
I could call
case.
in a pinch.
Okay.
We could FaceTime and put out the fire probably if we had to.
Remotely.
Yes.
You've saved
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I carry around my laptop, I call it like the technology football, you know, as long as I have that with me, I can solve 98% of the problems, so.
We really worked close on that for you.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say 43 students?
Yeah.
And if you include pre-K,
Oh, yeah, if you include pre-K, we're at 70.6%, but we can't include pre-K in our numbers, so. 43 students is
Feed
what we
them
missed.
much?
Pardon?
Do we feed them much?
We do.
We do, but we can't.
They reimburse us for that.
Oh.
Pre-K gets all kinds of grants.
If they do fill out a free and reduced lunch application, and if they
Yeah.
don't qualify, the pre-K program pays for it.
Bailey gave me a list of names and I will read them off for that. But I always am cautious because I feel like I'm gonna forget somebody or that may be left off. But Miss Roach, Sabrina Rivera, Teresa Rutledge, Randy Oxford, Kendra McGall, Melinda Stafford, Bruce Dunlap, Kendra Glenn, Krista Huff. They came from each campus this was like before September ended, to make phone calls for anyone who had still not returned their application. Food service, Ms. Snowdine, Andy Johnson, Faith Smith, Judy Siegel, Rihanna Jackson, Kim Hawkins. They all worked very hard in trying to get their applications processed and all the paperwork completed. ELL put in a big push as well. Ms. Kozad, Mel, Jack Luke, Esmeralda Sprinkle, Manuel Mercado. They did a lot of interactions with foreign language speaking families and getting those applications back, and then just in others, Mr. Ferguson, Gary Davidson, David Phillips, Pauline Taylor, Rebecca Burton, Brigna Ogden. They all did something with eSchool and sent them, updating and change their meal status for students. This was a big push, basically doing everything but going door to door and knocking on doors. And I can't speak enough for what I saw in that time frame or how hard they worked to be able to get that done. So there was no shame in getting 68% is what I was thinking.
There's big gains for sure.
So if I left anybody off that worked, I'm sorry. It's Bailey's fault. No, I did not say that.
I did caveat that and say to the best of my ability, I could think of.
Can I brag real quick on the media, the kids made a commercial for that, I don't know if y'all saw that on social media.
Oh, the Elvis one?
Yes, they made a commercial, so And then some kids made signs for the driveway. I don't know if Cedric told you about that or not, but he was his arm was twisted a little bit. But they put some
Twist them all you want to.
I figured I could.
Well, if you look at high schools specifically, they jumped 12 or 14% just at their campus, which is always our hardest campus to get returns from, so. The hard work definitely paid off there for
I
sure.
mean, you can see it in the numbers. I mean, it's great stuff.
It's very appreciated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it come out to $122,000 additionally for ESA funding
That's last year.
for next year, yeah.
And my understanding is like Springdale gets it, but they have like people they literally hire for like the first month of school, that's their only job and go out and visit, so that's like, we did amazing.
Correct. That might be on the agenda next year, but we weren't ready to do that just yet.
Well, we jumped, what, 10%, almost 10%,
Yeah,
like 9.7.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
That's great gains.
And more accurate data than we've
Oh,
ever
yeah.
had, for sure. We were just talking, I think, less than 300 people didn't fill out.
Yeah.
300 students didn't fill out applications, so.
Everyone's appreciated.
If we're ready to move on to new business, can we? I don't wanna force it up. Okay, new business, we have the approval of transfer of funds for the construction payment. We need to, transfer $368,549.44 from our bond account at Cornerstone to our operating account in US to pay for the activity center expenses.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Second by Connie. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. And that, just to follow up, that will leave roughly 17,000 in that account, is that right, Tina? So we'll have one more of these to make, and then the rest will be coming out of our building fund. The expenses that we have. The second item is tab D, is the approval of expenditure of grant funds for pre-K camera system. We are seeking the approval of purchasing $38,834.55 of camera equipment for pre-K. This is through a grant that has been awarded to us. Bailey's here to talk about any aspect of it that you might have. We put in the packet his request, proposal, and then the actual invoice, or not invoice, but estimate, I should say, and then the camera systems that will be used, would be installed.
I had a question about the grant money. So was this, how much of the grant money is this? What was the grant award?
$90,000.
$90,000? Okay.
It was from our federal pre-K for quality improvements.
And so what other kind of things can this be used for?
So we tried to target, our ABC pre-K money is very restrictive on what we can use it for. So we tried to look for areas of need that we are kind of restricted on using our normal pre-K funds for. So having camera systems within the classrooms and out on our playground was a big need, and this was like that one opportunity to be able to do that. There are some other expenses like painting and things like that, any type of like new furniture, or, just replacing some outdated things, we can use that for. But our biggest purchase was this technology because it is not something that our normal pre-K money will let us purchase. I think another big expense was the copiers,
Yeah.
right? They don't have their own copy machine, and so they have to walk up, and they get a very slim window of time to be able to access that, so we're really excited to be able to provide that for them. So really trying to get some of those things that are just necessities, but we just don't always have the funds or availability.
Will parents be able to watch use the cameras, or is it just for?
Just the
Right,
school staff.
just the same as what we use our other camera systems for.
Is there any further questions?
And then I guess you looked at multiple systems.
We have, and I mean, that's one thing, you know, that we just are actively looking at throughout, is just, you know, is what we have currently the best. And to be honest, this one is very appealing, it has a lot of features, and it's one district-wide that I've been contemplating trying. Talking to other schools, they love it, it's very intuitive, the quality is very great, and it is 10 years. So, you know, that's a 10-year license, 10-year camera warranty. Once we put it in, we don't have to do anything for 10 years. So that is a big appeal. And that's one reason that the cost is, you know, a little bit more than what you'd expect for this setup. But, so I felt confident enough that I like this system well enough that I would like to use this as a good pilot, to try it out and see if we think that we'll like it for the district.
I mean, it is, if we decided to do it throughout the district, we can integrate that into the
Yes.
system already, even if it's 2 or 3 years down the
Yes.
road.
And it is cloud-based, so there's no physical equipment we have to house here, so that's another cost savings. Yes,
It's part of the TIPS program
it is.
as well, so. This is the lowest price through the state. That was my big thing was if we do decide to do this throughout the district, that we're not.
Oh, yeah, no, we
this is gonna be
definitely don't want it to
obsolete.
be wasted money, for
Right.
sure. Yeah. And honestly, even if we decided to go with the whole separate system, this would still be a standalone system for pre-K that they'd have access to and that we could continue to use.
I make a motion to transfer the funds.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
By Josh, all in favor?
Okay, next item is our transfer request. We have 3 transfer requests listed, 2 of which have never been in the district.
Are there any questions on the transfer requests? Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Leslie, Nick second. All in favor?
Okay, last is personnel.
Any questions regarding personnel? There's no questions, can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Connie makes a second. Nick seconds, all in favor?
Okay. Personnel resignations, Jacqueline Kelly, HHS special education teacher, 9/12/22. Brenda Foster, St. Paul High School math teacher, 10/12/22. Classified resignations, Cami Wade, HHS paraprofessional, 10/3/22. Evila Mercado, HHS HSD paraprofessional, 9/30/22. Luke Hart, transportation, 10/3/22. Ruth Zabeta, transportation, 9/30/22. Kylie Marshall, HIS paraprofessional, 10/10/22. Hires certified, Mizel Perez Medina, St. Paul High School math, 190-day contract upon approval of the background check. And that was, last I checked, it's still pending. That means that they have submitted it, but it has not gone through all the steps yet. Classified, Sabrina Rivera, HIS paraprofessional, 185-day contract, 9/30/22. Transfers, no certified classified, Leah Knowlton, HIS paraprofessional to HHS paraprofessional, 185-day contract, 10/12/22.
I guess I should have asked this question before, but where it says, the math teacher at St. Paul, the 190-day contract, so she's not actually teaching right now?
The Mizel Perez Medina, they're
Yeah.
not on, no, not right now.
But she will have 190.
Well, we won't backdate it, it'll start on the
Okay, so but it'll be based on the rest of the year. Okay.
And then, so we're losing special education in high school, so where does that put us now?
I'm still down 2 teachers right now, 32, 2 teachers and a couple of aides.
Still having trouble, I'm guessing,
It's just, we've got it posted, I just don't have any applications. I have someone that may be able to do a provisionary kind of thing, but we're still checking on all the credentials, so. It's a problem statewide.
Maybe December when they all graduate. December graduates.
I hope so. But our teachers are doing a good job. They're all, fully as many people as they can have on the rosters, and they're taking it in stride, so
They're pitching in.
they're helping, yes, very much.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? Let's make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll say.
Alright, all in favor?
Steve, you still there?
Okay, thank you, sir.